Hello peeps, and welcome back to Tango's World of Fics. This will be Chapter 3 of the Verdant Analyst, and perchance Chapter 4. We'll see how long this recording is, and depending on that, I might add in the next chapter. Anyways, on to the chapter. Here's the summary. More with Bakugo, some red shoes with a community to go along with it. We get some analyst and Kamui Woods, and there's a hobo and a cockatoo as well. Enjoy! Hope it's okay. And then the notes say, I update every Thursday, sometimes Friday, and sometimes Wednesday. But it'll be one of those, so Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Look out for my updates. Okay, now on to the chapter, for reals this time. The morning came quick for Izuku Midoriya. He had slept the best he had ever slept in what felt like, and most likely was, years. Kachan was already awake, and he could hear the shower running. Kachan's bed felt like a marshmallow. He loved it. Kachan came out, seeing Izuku was awake, and he sighed. You need the rest. I'm happy you slept a while. Izuku beamed at the boy. I missed you, Kachan! Me too, you damn nerd. I need to talk to you about something. Your mom, she... Before he could finish, Izuku cut him off. I know, Kachan. I know. I was there. I didn't do it, though. I didn't. I'm sorry. Izuku said, waving his hands furiously. I'm sorry you had to see that, Katsuki said, sitting down next to Izuku. Oh, thank you for letting me borrow your clothes. I'll be leaving here soon. Could I borrow... Keep them. They're my old clothes, so they don't fit anymore. Wait a second. What do you mean you're leaving? Where are you gonna go? Kachan, I can't stay here with you, but I'm sure I'll find somewhere. Besides, one of my quirks is literally luck generator, though it barely ever works. Izuku says, smiling. What the hell do you mean one of your quirks? Katsuki, keep it down in there! His mother yells from the kitchen. Whatever, old hag. You better watch your mouth, brat! Mitsuki, sweetheart, I thought we agreed no more yelling. Shut up! Your parents are energetic. I see they haven't changed. You still didn't answer my question, Katsuki said in a stern voice. Well, you see... After about 2 hours of talking, with only a few interruptions from Kachan, he had told his best friend everything, other than the vigilante part, but that was for another time. I'm sorry, Katsuki said, pulling Izuku in for a hug. Katsuki stood up and went to his closet, grabbing a hoodie and passing it to Izuku. You can use that. We will go shopping together. And you will get more clothes. I can tell I won't be able to stop you from leaving. I doubt you'll remember this, but when I was younger, I promised you that I would protect you. I failed, and it won't happen again, so if you need me, find me. But please try to be safe. If you don't find a place to stay tonight, you can always come back here. You can always stay with me. Katsuki grabbed a notebook and pencil. You mentioned your father made you write analysis on heroes. Help him take them down. You said you like taking notes and writing, so you can have this. But I want to write a few things down for you. Izuku looked at him curiously. I wrote down my number here, and I also added my address, and just in case, and I added your old address, and if you want to go. I mean, I don't know if you want to, but... There's no one there currently, and eventually they'll start taking everything out and probably donating it since they think you're dead and your mom's dead and no one else is stepping up to clean the house and the stuff inside. So if you want to go there and take anything, do it now. I also wrote down the name of my school if you want to join my school. Aldera, of course. You should come with a new identity, the one you mentioned, Hanukkah, right? The extras at my school don't really like quirkless, so I'll protect you. I'm sure your mom wanted you to go to that school, because my mom wanted us to go to school together, and yours did too, and... Anyways, I'll give you my email just in case. Whoa, that's a lot. Thank you, Kachan. Really? Once I get a phone or a computer or whatever I manage to get, I'll write you. So you know it's me, the code word is Rochambeau, dig me? Rochambeau? Yeah, it's random, but that way if someone pretends to be me, or if you have a feeling it's not me, that you can just ask for that word, and that's what it is. Anyways, they hug one last time. Relax, have a drink with me one last time. It says that. It says, relax, have a drink with me. I'm listening to Hamilton. Sorry for the references, LMAO. And then Izuku is off. About 2 weeks after he had faked his death and seen Kacchan, Izuku had finally found a place to call home. It was an abandoned apartment complex, with a few others living on the different floors, but Izuku had chosen to live on the top floor since it was the one that was vacant at the time being. The others stayed on their floor, and Izuku did too, so it was nice. They all had privacy. Izuku started to explore the rooms on his floor. It wasn't that bad. Apparently, the apartment was abandoned due to an apparent leak of some poison. It was cleared after a while, but the people who had lived there did not want to come back, so it was abandoned. Apparently, one of the girls who had moved in on one of the other floors had set up some kind of electricity and water thing. When he asked the young girl, who was 11, she responded with a short explanation. She said that she had reached out to the old owners of the place, and they agreed to turn on the power and water and pay for it all as long as she didn't go to court with the truth, and as long as she didn't get money from whoever stayed there. Izuku found out later that the truth was that the owner had purposefully tried to poison everyone, and she somehow had proof. He also found out that the neighbors that lived on the other floors were also runaways. They were close to his age, apparently. He had seen them a few times, and even saw one of them wearing a strange costume. Izuku made note of that, so maybe they could hang out sometime. Izuku did need someone to talk to. He did have Kacchan, but he didn't want to risk it. First, he would need to change his appearance for his new identity, Hanako Suzuki. He was planning on just dyeing his hair black, but that means he needs money. He won't steal. So far, even finding a place was lucky, and he chalked it up to his luck quirk in action. He knew it was only a matter of time until it would turn to bad luck. He was looking through the rooms and making note of which rooms had things that he could use when he saw an empty one. It was the biggest room and in the best condition. He chose that as his bedroom. The room was nice. It had a bed covered in some kind of wrap. It was probably new when it got there. He found some blankets that he had found in other rooms, and pillows that made the bed nice and comfy. He checked out the rest of the room. There was a bathroom, a shower, a toilet, a sink, and one shelf. He would have to find anything else he needed in the other rooms, or shopping. But that means he needs money, once again. There was a small living room with a table and 4 chairs. The kitchen was nice with a stove and an oven, and there was even a mini fridge. Thank God for mini fridges. There was a bunch of cabinets and a few pans and pots. By the bed, there was a nightstand, and on the other side, there was a closet for clothes. Izuku opened the closet and was surprised to find a black bag inside. He took the bag out and opened it on his lap. For a second, he thought it was an illusion, but right there in that bag was about 40 stacks of money. Izuku's eyes widened as he counted it. He was surprised to see there was a total of 50 stacks, each one with 1,000, which gave him a total of $50,000. He would have to trade it out for yen, but that was no problem. He was set for life. Or at least for a while. Izuku spent the rest of the day cleaning the new room and taking the things he liked from the other rooms. He found a box of instant ramen in one, and he found some squishmallows in another room, which he added to the bed to make it even more cozy than it was. He found some fairy lights, which were adorable, so he had to add them. He found a nice desk made of wood in a room that seemed to be the room of an old writer. In that room, he also found a bunch of supplies for writing and many notebooks. He found pencils and pens as well. It was a dream, and it was all such good quality. He put that in his room, and he found another room that was pretty empty across from his room, so he decided that would be his vigilante base. That room connected to another room, which, unlike the first, it was filled with boxes. He opened one of the boxes up, and it was filled to the top with rubber ducks. To his surprise, they were all green and orange, and Izuku thought it was funny and put it into a different room so he could use that for his vigilante gear. Izuku now had his room, which was the biggest, and he had his vigilante base, which he added a smaller desk to that he had found in another room, plus a little chair in the storage room that was connected to it. He did not put anything other than a few closets that would be for his gear. He continued looking through the other rooms, and then he found a guitar. It was still in its case, and he also found some beginner's music and a guide to playing the guitar. This person also had an amp and a bunch of picks in a box. There was even a speaker, and he was surprised at how lucky he had been that day. He brought it all to his room, but when he got to the room, he decided to put it in the one next to his so that he could have a music room. Izuku had always enjoyed music because of his mother. She had taught him to sing, and he was grateful for it. On some days when he was with his father, or when he was just alone in his room, he would tap on the floor and improvise a song. His new music room was rather small, but it had good sound, and it worked. Now, the music room was rather small, but it had good sound, so it worked for him. The room was originally a room with a small bed and some squishmallows, plus a table, some colored pencils, and a stack of drawings. They were clearly made by a small child. And on the wall there was pictures of a girl and her mother. And when Izuku saw it, it reminded him of his mother. He took it all and put it in the farthest room, his storage room. Going through the rest of the rooms, he found some canned food and cat food, plus some cat toys. Maybe he should get a cat. Maybe he could just feed the cats that live near. That might be a better idea. He found some other things, some jewelry, some cups, plates, books, clothes, and more. It was getting late, however. His wounds from the escape were not good ones. So Izuku had food, and he was currently out of bandages and ibuprofen. He decided to take a $10 bill that he had found and go to a local convenience store to get what he needed. He had seen a strange vending machine that you could put in money from any place in the world, and it would give you yen back. He assumed it was for travelers, though it was perfect for him, so he used it on his way to the convenience store. It was a quiet walk, with a few confused glances at him, probably wondering what an 8-year-old was doing walking around alone. Once he walked into the convenience store, he went straight to the aisle where they kept the ibuprofen. And once he found it, he started looking for bandages. "Oh, sorry, little listener. You all right?" Izuku froze, because he knew he had just bumped into someone, but did he have to bump into Present Mike of all people? Yes, sir. I'm okay. Sorry for bumping into you," Izuku said, bowing slightly. "No worries, little guy. Just watch where you're going." Mike smiled softly at him and then turned his head to see some creepy and tired homeless guy. Wait, he recognized him. Izuku stiffened when he saw Aizawa. That must be a hero. But he looked so tired, and his stare reminded him of his father's stare. "Let's go, Mike. Come on," the tired man said. For a moment, it seemed like he had almost said something else, other than Mike. They must be friends, and that's why the present Mike would be with someone who really looked tired. Izuku thought that's why they were together, right? Mike turned to Izuku and gave him a smile before leaving with the tired man. By the time Izuku was done thinking, the two had already left, so Izuku grabbed the bandages and went to pay. After paying, he headed to his makeshift home, only stopping when he saw a cute cat, and otherwise heading straight back to his place. Once he arrived to his room and put the things away, he had 1 dose of ibuprofen and put new bandages on his wounds as well. He would need to start saving money. Hisashi and Shota were out to restock bandages and cat food when they split up to get things separately. Shota got the cat food while Hisashi got the bandages. Shota had gotten treats for the cats and food, and he decided to check if Hisashi had gotten the bandages yet, or if perhaps someone had seen him and asked for an autograph. This is why they never went out in costume. The fans were not a problem for Shota, since he was an underground hero. But for Hisashi, it was quite annoying, and they both knew this well. Shota had finally spotted where Hisashi was, only to see a kid next to him who looked scared? Panicked? No, that couldn't be. This kid was only, 6? 10? No, 10's too much. "Let's go, Mike. Come on." Shit. He almost said Hizashi. He had already let it slip a few times, but he couldn't let it happen, not in front of a child. Kids have big mouths, especially for young teens. Shota knew this well. This kid, however, there was something off that Shota couldn't place. And, wait, why was he in this aisle? He had ibuprofen, but he looked like he was looking for something. And before Shota could think about it, Hizashi dragged him off to go pay. Okay, here's where there's a time skip. There's many time skips, and they are pretty large. And this is a 2-year time skip, so it's time for a time skip. 2 years later. Izuku had settled into his home, and Kacchan had told him each subject he needed to catch up on for school. It was tough, but Izuku was able to learn everything he needed by the end of Kacchan's summer, with a few weeks left to apply for Aldera Junior High. Izuku had started training with his neighbors, which he found out were vigilantes. What a coincidence, right? They had told him about a cafe that they worked at, and it was a great place for vigilantes or anyone who needed a job. They accepted everyone and anyone. The 4 kids that Izuku had learned were Amane Nakami. They were non-binary, and the one that was quirkless. Celeste Minxu. Her quirk would let whatever she drew come to life or become real. Irene Kinley. Her quirk was bare, no further explanation needed. Tango Prismatang. Her quirk was sing-song, and she could use telekinesis as long as she was singing. He started to work at the Vigilant Cat a year ago, and it was nice and paid well. It was a cat cafe, which was also awesome. Although he made another identity for the cafe, it was totally worth it. Akari Manka. Sex, male. Age, 18. Quirk, -8. Quirk makes user appear their age minus 8 years. He works at the Vigilant Cat Cafe. Sometimes Kacchan would come, and they would hang out with the cats on Izuku's break. There was also this purple-haired kid who came every week. He had bruises and barely talked, but it was nice to see how he got along with cats. He learned later that his name was Shinzo, and apparently he had been going there for years. From the $50,000 Izuku had found, he ended up using $5,000 on electronics, like his computer, his phone, headphones, which Kacchan had said he should buy. He also used $5,000 on food throughout the year. He used $10,000 on clothes and shoes, as well as everything he needed for his vigilante outfit, plus spares. With the $30,000 he had left, he saved it to pay for online classes on coding and tutoring sessions, as well as many first aid kits. Plus, he used some of it to buy makeup and other supplies he may need for his fake identities, along with buying weapons for his vigilante costume. After all that, he was left with about $10,000, which he used as backup. For coding and hacking, he had found an online course a bit after he had turned 9 and started learning from there. He knew it would be good as a vigilante since they needed many skills. Therefore, coding and hacking were a great place to start. Izuku had been testing his hacking skills on cameras around his neighborhood, technically as a vigilante. But he was going to be a vigilante and no one will know, right? Wrong. Izuku had been switching between cameras and hacking when he came across some old guy holding a knife to a lady's throat. Izuku panicked, and what was he supposed to do? He couldn't reveal himself as a vigilante yet. He didn't even have a name. Plus, he needed to train more. He hadn't even told Kacchan. He got an idea and started searching the camera for any hero who might be patrolling the area. He was going so fast, he almost missed the number 7 pro hero. Kamui Woods! Perfect! He started to hack the comms of the hero, failing the first try but succeeding after another minute. Immediately after he hacked into the comms, he spoke. Kamui Woods, hello! There's a man a block from here, on XXX Street, holding a knife to a nice lady's throat. Would you care to lend a hand? As Izuku said this, he could hear the voice getting distorted, even on his end. That was good, so Izuku didn't have to worry about them figuring out who he was. Yet. Kamui Woods only nodded and ran to where Izuku had told him, probably guessing it was a pro hero or maybe an intern. Kamui Woods took down the villain easily, tying them up and calling the police. And as he moved on, he pressed his hand to his comm and said, "Hey, are you there?" he said in a calm voice. Izuku scrambled to answer. "Yes, sir!" "Good. You did a good job telling me where that villain was. You got a name?" Izuku froze. A name? He hadn't thought of one. He was literally just panicking about this a second ago, and now they expected him to have a name already? Well, I guess they wouldn't know. He thought for a moment and then answered, "The Analyst." There was a pause, which scared Izuku. Did Kamui Woods think that he was a villain, and was he going to arrest him? Oh no, what had he done? Well, he was going to have to catch him. If that's the case, his voice wouldn't be made out over the bad quality, and the audio was horrible. And on top of that, Izuku had masked his location completely, and he... "Okay, Analyst, thanks for your help." "Wait, what? Did he just thank me?" The boy's head was spinning, and he was confused. Why did the hero thank him? What? He had hacked into their comms, and that was illegal. Or maybe the hero really did think Izuku was a hero or sidekick or something. But he had just tricked a pro. Maybe his father was right. Maybe he can't do anything right. After a week, the same thing happened, but with death arms this time. Izuku was bored, however, he was scrolling through the cams, so when he saw a young boy being robbed, Izuku did the most reasonable thing he would do. Hacked into the comms again and called a pro. He asked his name again and he gave the Analyst. It wasn't a bad name, but Izuku would have liked to think more about it. But, oh well, it's not going to be permanent, right? He could still think of a vigilante name when he had the time. This ended up happening more times, which helped him, in the beginning, to make a name for himself in the hero community as the Analyst. Izuku wasn't too proud of it, since it was illegal, but no one seemed to question him. Until someone did. Izuku had just helped Kamui Woods when Kamui asked, "Hey, Analyst, I was talking about you with Detective Sukachi. We were trying to find what agency you work at, and no luck so far. Would you mind telling us?" Izuku gulped. He knew it would come to this. "Oh, I'm not a hero." Kamui paused. "Oh, are you a hero student then?" Izuku thought for a second before answering. He could lie. "No, a vigilante." Kamui hummed. "Okay then, if you want to join a hero agency, you can always join rehab program. Your skills are very useful. Think about it." "Okay." Without thinking further, he turned off his computer. What the fuck had he just done? He was 10 and a half. It was way too soon to be a vigilante, and he was not joining a rehab program, especially when he hadn't even started being a vigilante. Well, I guess he had. Plus, he didn't have enough training. Sure, he did help Kachan in training, but that was only because he had trained with his father basically every day while he was with him. And that's besides the point. He was weak and he needed to get stronger. Izuku took a moment to calm himself down, but he needed to be distracted. He turned on his computer and started looking at random websites. He liked the more illegal ones, since sometimes he stumbled across some drama, which was always great. He had been listening to music after getting bored again when he got a notification. An email? He didn't recognize the person emailing him, so, after careful consideration, he opened up the email. It was from the Red Shoe community? What the hell was that? It was an invite to join an exclusive server. What did that mean? Yeah, he was not good with technology, so Izuku did what anyone would do. He looked it up. After looking at Red Shoes a lot and hacking into a lot of different websites, he finally found his answer. The Red Shoe community was a community of quirkless people and people who were diagnosed wrong. The ones that were diagnosed wrong had the double pinky joint, but they still had a quirk, and some of them had quirks, but they were treated the same as quirkless. Izuku went straight to the email and accepted the invite, as if it would disappear if he didn't. Once he joined, he was surprised to see it was rather normal. People just chatted, made group meetings, as well as free therapy sessions for each other. This made sense since quirkless lives were hard. He knew this because of Hanako Suzuki, his fake identity for school. Hanako was quirkless, which made Izuku live the life of a quirkless boy. The red shoes were something that Izuku wore no matter the identity. He had a few pairs so that he could dye a pair if he needed for a different identity. It would be suspicious if he wore red shoes and the identity had a powerful quirk, since that simply made no sense. The red shoes also fit him better since he did have the extra pinky joint. His quirk was unique, though it was rare that this did happen. He continued looking through the website until he noticed it also had videos on self-defense and fighting techniques. The comments said that if you followed the videos and practiced and trained every day, you would be at a pro level by 3 years. He doubted this, but he knew that he would have to start doing it for now. But for now, he would wait till summer starts. At least then he would be done when he's almost 14. And that would be perfect so he could get ready to start his vigilantism right as Kachan was hopefully going to UA. On the server, there was a group chat for each age group and chats to find red shoes near you, which was a cool way of saying quirkless people. Izuku found out that this was a way to see who was quirkless. This server was hard to hack and was well guarded, so it was perfect for the quirkless community. Now when Izuku went out, he saw the world in new eyes. He noticed more. He started looking at people's shoes more, and he found that there were actually more people that had things in common with Izuku than he thought. He found himself waving at a few of them and earning a smile in return. Izuku felt nice. He was happy to know that there were other people out there than he had thought. 1 week later. What a time skip. Izuku had just accepted his first group invite from the Red Shoe community for all the newer people on the server, so he decided to go. The meetup was at one of their trusted locations. The trusted locations they had were normally family businesses, since families normally didn't judge them or they were similar to them. Another type of trusted location could be a park or maybe one of the houses of the many people on the server. Izuku had chosen to go to the closest one to where he lived, which was a 20-minute walk to a small cafe named Quirky Coffee. Izuku liked the name. It was fun. Something Izuku did not expect was to be greeted by a group of 15 people when he arrived to the back room of the cafe. They chose the back rooms of these places just in case anyone came in and decided to attack, so that they wouldn't put anyone in harm. He had expected maybe 5, but not 15. He hadn't had high expectations for this. I guess there really is many people like him. Maybe not exactly like him, but similar, and he was grateful. He looked around the room and found a seat and sat down next to someone who was currently writing their name on a name tag and putting it on. It seemed everyone was doing that, so Izuku did the same. After a few minutes, the group was a total of 21 people, which was very surprising, and the meeting started. The notes say, "Sorry if it's short. Also, I have a Discord server, which is in the description of this fic. I have a YouTube channel where I have some short videos as well, so if you want, I can write down the name sometime. And I can put that in the description, the name to their channel, because I checked it out, and yeah. They haven't put many things recently, I don't think. I think it's better just to look up the Verdant Analyst. But this will be all. I will do chapter 4 next time because this is already close to 30 minutes. And I was not expecting that because it kind of fluctuates. Some chapters are shorter and some are longer. But that one was definitely a longer one. I think 4 may be shorter. But we'll see. See you next time. This is Tango signing off.